Good morning and good evening here from Nettetal in Germany. My name is Achim and I'm going to guide you through the new Polk MagniFi Max Atmos flagship today. So I'm here with my colleague Kevin, who is our cameraman today. And also we have Frederick in Hong Kong on board, who will also support this for the APAC region. Please, if you have any question or comment, just put them in the question window of the GoToWebinar pop-up, and either we will answer directly on the fly, or they will be answered later in the Q&A part. Okay, let's start. So what I would like to go through today is first some slides, who is Polk and what are we doing. Also, I would like to talk about the huge opportunity which is out there with 3D immersive format like Dolby Atmos for the soundbar category. Then I would like to show you the current Polk soundbar lineup, how it looks. And also, I would like to give you an update on the latest feature edition for the MagniFi Mini AX, which we launched a couple of weeks ago, actually. And then we come to the new, exciting new flagship from Polk. And I can tell you, I mean, probably you haven't heard it, but it's by far the best sounding soundbar Polk ever made, and it's really a masterpiece, I would say, especially when you consider the price. So I can't wait to hear your feedback once it arrived in the shop. So we will talk then in detail about the product, and also I would like to summarize those strong points of the MagniFi Max, and the last part of this session will be the question and answer. Polk is a very legendary audio brand for home theater sound, and that's actually a great foundation for building great sound bars. And actually, Polk was established 50 years ago. So this year we are celebrating our 50th anniversary. And here you can see Polk logo. It started with Polk Audio, and then today it's just Polk, and our, let's say, current tagline is great sound for all, because this is actually what Polk wants to do. So Polk is not aiming to do some very high-end audiophile stuff, but just, let's say, for the average consumer, I would say, and then giving really a surprising high performance product. Showing some historical picture. So here you can see where everything has started. Actually, Polk was established by a rock and roll loving scientist who wanted at that time bring the live atmosphere of a rock concert to the home of the customer without spending a fortune of budget. And that's why Polk has an extended history doing great sound at affordable price tag. So this is the DNA, Polk, great sound for all. And just for the fun, here are some ads from the 80s, I guess. You see, this is the first Polk logo, and I mean, Polk audio speakers put the others to shame. You can see also from these ads, let's say, the mission was to bring great sound at affordable prices, and this is still what we want to deliver today. And today we are talking about soundbars, and all the knowledge that Polk, let's say, got from advanced acoustic engineering in these 50 years is also available in the Polk soundbars. And actually, Polk was the first acoustic brand that entered the soundbar market. So that was in 2008. That was the Polk soundbar 50. Actually, it was more like a LCR speaker. So it had the left, the right, and the center speaker. and you needed an AVR for the amplification. But you know, this is actually, I mean, 2008, that is quite a long time ago. And since that, things that Polk developed, especially the SDA surround, that really helps us to create a very involving surround atmosphere, and also now with Atmos 3D. And these fruits actually you can recognize by the great reviews that we get, but also on Amazon. Here's just an example, and I think you are all very familiar with our soundbar products, and hopefully you can confirm that we really are doing great things for affordable soundbars. We have been reaching out to normal end customers because we wanted to understand what is important to our customers when thinking about a TV sound solution. And actually, there were three things that are important. The first one is crystal clear dialogues, and that's very understandable because if you are watching a movie and even there are explosion or there is some whispering, you want to have very clear dialogues because otherwise you can't follow the movie. The second one is great surround sound, even there are no surround speaker included. And the third thing that was very important to customers, or is very important to customers, is a deep, impactful bass. And actually, Polk developed unique technologies to meet these objectives and requirements from the customers. For crystal clear dialogue, we developed voice adjust, and I will explain in a slide later what this actually is. For great surround sound, we developed SDA surround. Also there, I will give you more background information, but basically it's from the fact that on a soundbar you have very limited width compared with a typical stereo speaker, and in order to make a wider sound stage, we have a special chassis configuration in our soundbars, also in our, let's say, more expensive component speaker to achieve that. And for the deep, impactful bass, we have a technology called better bass. I mean, for the deep, impactful bass, everything starts with a subwoofer, obviously. I mean, if you have a, let's say, a big driver, a solid cabinet, and high power amplification, that is one piece. But there are also some DSP algorithm about the bass control, and also there I will dig a little bit deeper what this actually means. So to conclude, so we know what the customers want, and Polk developed the technologies actually to deliver these demand to the customer. The second thing I would like to stress is the huge opportunity for the soundbar category, and this is about the fact that so video streaming trends now have picked up Dolby Atmos especially, so 3D immersive sound. So that means today almost all new movies and episodes, so they support Dolby Atmos. So it's on Prime, it's on Netflix, it's on Disney, it's on iTunes, it's everywhere. So I mean, in the past you needed a special Blu-ray disc or some other carrier to get native Dolby Atmos soundtracks, but nowadays this is a kind of standard in the video streaming industry. So that means you can access these native Atmos movies very, very easily. And the other thing is that is also very interesting to see that there are more and more music tracks in Dolby Atmos available. And with the MagniFi Max or the MagniFi Mini or the Polk S4 that supports Atmos, so you can really enjoy that. And there are basically three services around that support Dolby Atmos in music today. So one is Tidal, the other one is Apple Music, and it's also Amazon Music HD. And I've listed here the devices you would actually need to listen to those Dolby Atmos recorded music and play back through an Atmos capable Polk soundbar. For Tidal, for example, the Tidal app is available on Android TVs, so you just need the Tidal TV app, download with your TV. You can also enjoy that by Apple TV. There's also the matching app, NVIDIA Shield TV, and also on Amazon Fire TV devices. So it's very, very easy. And this is not about video, so there is no picture. It's just the music experience, and that is completely, yeah, I would say a different world. I mean, we know this from our AVRs, but now as we have very serious Dolby Atmos enabled soundbars from Polk, so you can also really stream native Atmos music, because there is quite a difference compared if you play flat 2-channel or flat 5.1 over a Dolby Atmos bar. So that need to be upscaled in the third dimension, or here or on Netflix with a movie, you get native Atmos content. Native Atmos content means that there is a discrete information for the height layer, for the ceiling speakers, which then be reproduced by the upfiring speakers of the soundbar or by the virtual DSP processing. So one word, so Dolby Atmos is not just video streaming, but also you can have really great audio tracks found on Tidal, Apple Music, and Amazon Music. So you need to see how to get that into the bar. And also later, I will also then show you how you can actually check on the bar if you get the proper signal, which is very important, because I mean, there are many bars out there that don't have a display for that. So you can just guess whether this is a native Atmos signal or just an upscaled signal. Okay, let's go to the Polk soundbar lineup. Polk today offers really a complete lineup from an audio brand. This time we are going to replace the current MagniFi Max and the Max SR with Dolby Atmos and DTS enabled soundbars, really our new flagships. So the prices I've put here in euro, so apologize, but at least let's say you have kind of marking where those price points sit. Here in Europe, the new MagniFi Max AX versions, so they are slightly more expensive, and the main reason for that is, you know, I mean, there are many things going on with the dollar-euro rate and all that stuff, but let's say that the bottom line is basically the prices have gone up because these products are in a completely different league. So from a sound performance and also from the feature set, so they are not comparable with what we have done before. So and if you listen to them, so my personal opinion is we should have reconsidered the price more seriously, because this product really blows, I would say, everything away, which is below 1200. So a little bargain. Before we go to the MagniFi Max, I would like to spend a word on the MagniFi Mini, the small brother, which we launched 3 months ago, I think. First of all, I mean, the MagniFi Mini AX is a very special proposition because it's an ultra compact bar. So the width is just 37 centimeters. So big sound from a small form factor. And so this was just awarded we got the ISA award for the best compact soundbar, which is fantastic. And so our engineering, DSP and acoustics, so I mean, they are very proud because we have some experience making those Mini. So this is our, let's say, second AX generation. And yeah, this actually pays off. And here is just a summary. You see also this has Dolby Atmos, DTS X, and also I would stress the point that the MagniFi Mini AX is 5.1 ready, so you can get additional surround speakers, the SR2, for 199 euros, so they can be quickly installed. It's just 3-button press, and it just takes around 5 minutes, and there is no complicated process, and the product automatically recognizes that there are surrounds connected, and then will separate the surround information from the front surround part, so that you get a discrete surround channels, which also then will include the, let's say, upscaling Atmos part from the surround. And here again, so it's the combination. It's not just Dolby Atmos or DTS:X, but it's the combination with SDA, and this makes it sound very, very special. The MagniFi Mini AX can also stream music, like Dolby Atmos, for example, if you like. But also it has all the other stuff like Spotify Connect, Apple AirPlay, Chromecast built-in, and Bluetooth. And actually, with the last software update a couple of weeks ago, we added a wider support for the voice agent. So originally, the MagniFi Mini AX at launch was compatible with Hey Google. So that means if you have an Android phone with Google on it, or you have a Google Home speaker, so you could give commands to the Mini AX, like setting the volume, these things, or play music. And we also added this for the Amazon Alexa world. So now the product is also compatible with works with Alexa. You know, there are 2 standards at Alexa. One is works with Alexa. That means you need an external microphone. So eventually your phone with the Alexa app, or you ask an Echo speaker, the Mini, to do something. And the other way is Alexa built-in. This is not the case for this product, because for Alexa built-in, you need a built-in microphone, which is not the case, but we added this Alexa support. And also, so now you can set up the Wi-Fi onboarding for the MagniFi Mini AX. You can also do that with the Alexa app if you want. Before, it was just the Google Home app, the Apple AirPlay part, and now you can also do the Wi-Fi onboarding with the Alexa app. So very, very easy. And also it supports Alexa multi-room. So that means you can group your whatever living room Mini, not living room, maybe bedroom Mini with an Echo speaker. So it's fully integrated in the Alexa, and we just added this by a software update. So great news for those customers out there, and looks like we need to update our website with this added feature set. So now it's time to have a look to the new MagniFi Max AX. So actually, it's there will be 2 versions like before. It's one product. It's a MagniFi Max AX, but it's available as a let's say standalone soundbar with the sub, or with added surround rear speakers. And yeah, this is how it looks. It's the width is 1 meter 13, I think, or 1 meter 14. So this is, I would say, it should match. It would match with a 55-inch screen. So this is a typical size, and this is actually what we have set up here. So it's a full size bar, other than the Mini. This one is a full width bar. And there are 2 products, as already mentioned. So the MagniFi Max AX, this is a 5.1.2 bar. So what does this mean? Actually, it processing 5 channels on the ground. So it takes the surround channels into account, and by DSP processing, psychoacoustic effect, but also by the Polk SDA technology, it's able to create a sound field, and it's taking all 5 channels into account, so 3 in the front and 2 on the rear. Point 1, obviously, it comes with a wireless subwoofer, and point 2, it has 2 up-firing Atmos speaker, and we will have a closer look how the product looks inside in a second. So the second bar is the SR version. So that has rear speakers, SR2 included, and this can process 7 ground channels. So it's not just front speakers and surround, but also the surround back speakers. And in order to give a proper 7.1 impression, you need the rear speakers, the SR2, which are included. And obviously here there is a price saving. I'm not sure how this is handled in APAC region, but I think it's very similar. Here in Europe, you pay 100 bucks up for getting the surround option, while the single price for, let's say, upgrading the non-SR version is 200. So it's like 50% off if you purchase that one time, which I think is highly recommended. But basically, there are 2 options in case the customer does not have the opportunity to install them, even though they are very small. He can buy the non-SR version. So let's have a look under the hood, and the Max AX comes actually with a 11 driver array. So first of all, it has a left channel right configuration, so a dedicated center, and everything is 2-way. And this combination of having 2 mid-bass drivers on the left and right, this is actually the heart of our SDA technology, which eliminates those crosstalk effects, and then you have, let's say, better atmosphere of the sound stage from the DSP processing, like you normally would just have from a headphone. And then on the top, so this is the yellow part in this picture. These are the Atmos DTS X up-firing drivers. So if you count them, it's 11 drivers, and this is powered by a 10-channel amplification. So every driver except those mid-range at the center, so they are used in a parallel configuration. So we have 10-channel amplification in this thing, and then if you consider the size, I mean, this is very, very amazing. And this is actually needed to have a discrete amplification, because each driver, so that means the DSP output, is a 10-channel processing in this bar, and actually this helps to create this wonderful 3D atmosphere. So as already said, this is a Dolby Atmos DTS X, and it comes with SDA. And while the sound stage originally for stereo speaker was improved that much by SDA, luckily this also helps to expand the 3D atmosphere. So it's not just good for, let's say, the flat world with a wide sound stage, so in the flat layer, but also it has a great effect on 3D movies and 3D music as well. So this everything is supported then by a 10-inch subwoofer, and this is very massive. So we have set it up here. Not sure later if you see me again, probably you can see it. It's on the right. So it's a 10-inch woofer with also has a new chipset. You know, our wireless surrounds, the SR2, and also the wireless subwoofer for the Polk soundbars, so they don't use Wi-Fi. However, so they are working in the 2.4 gigahertz area where also Wi-Fi is located. And our previous generation called SR1, there were some households with a lot of whatever Bluetooth devices, 2.4 Wi-Fi, baby monitors, where sometimes we had a crackling noise in the subwoofer or the surrounds. And the Max and the Mini, so those AX version, are using a new wireless transmission, which is more robust and had a better error correction. So basically, you can expect a more reliable connection from these devices in case you had any issues with that. So altogether, so the Max AX delivers an extremely powerful Atmos and DTS X sound, and it delivers really a great experience for music, movie, and also gaming. And please check this out. And yeah, so I would like to summarize this slide. It's not just that this is a Dolby Atmos bar or DTS X bar with up-firing drivers, but it's also the combination with SDA, with Polk SDA, and the knowledge the Polk acoustic engineers actually have. So looking to the SDA thing, this is what it's all about. And you know, for those psycho effects, they are called actually, so we can hear very precise 3D location because our brain learned from millions years where object is located. Is it in front of us? Is it in the rear? Is it on the right side, on the left side? What is the height? And those advanced DSP processing today, so they can simulate that actually the sound just comes from the right, but it's changed and modified in that way that our brain thinks it's coming from the upper right front, for example. And there is just one issue. So if you listen this virtual surround technology over a headphone, it sounds just amazing. And the reason for that is if you are carrying a headphone and you have the right channel just in your right ear and the left in your left ear, that's perfect. But what you should avoid is basically that your right ear is getting a signal from the left side. But if you are listening to speakers or soundbar, you actually cannot avoid this. And this is where SDA comes in place. So SDA is canceling these effects that your right ear can listen the signal from the left speaker and your left ear from the right speaker. So this is a kind of cross-canceling effect. And this is done by a special chassis configuration and also a little bit of DSP part. And this helps actually to amplify the surround effect, even there are no surround speakers. And also it emphasizes the great effect of Dolby Atmos. So that's why SDA is so great in the soundbar. And I'm happy that Polk has this technology. And yeah, you should really listen to that. SDA is also great for listening music. So the Max has great music streaming capabilities, just like the Mini. You have Spotify Connect, you have AirPlay, you have all those, and also Google Cast, so you can listen from your Android phone. But also we have a dedicated music mode that sounds best with any music streaming. And we also developed an auto mode, which is automatically selects the best sounding format for depending on the source. And here also the SDA plays an important role. Let's have a look to the SR2 speakers. So they are fully wireless. So you just need to plug in the power supply. Compared with the previous version, we extended the cable length. So now it's even easier to place the speakers even close under the ceiling or at the ceiling. So that's not a problem anymore. Like before, we had some feedback there. And you also can pair the SR2. So this I would like to show up again. So those SR2 also work with the MagniFi Mini AX, but they also work with the MagniFi 2, which we introduced, I think, a year ago. So that means both bars are ready to be upgraded to a full 5.1 system. And yeah, please keep this in mind. And I mean, it's additional sales, so it's a nice thing, and it adds a lot of sound space, adding the surround speakers, obviously. And all of them, they have the new, more robust wireless transmission system. So let's have a look to let's say, how it can be used and a little bit of convenience. So first of all, I would like to talk about something that is called bass adjust. So if you look to the Polk soundbar remote control, you won't find a subwoofer up-down button, which you would normally find. And the reason for that is actually Polk has a button. It's called bass, and you can increase or decrease as you like. And what we want to express is basically that it's not just the subwoofer level, but it's also the bass level of the bar. So it's much more than just you have an AVR, for example, and you are adjusting the LFE channel. So the LFE channel, the subwoofer channel, is just up to a certain frequency. Maybe it's 100, 110, 120 hertz, depending on the size. But at the end, so the subwoofer and the bar, they need to play as a team, and they should behave like one device. The reason why we need the subwoofer is just simply we cannot annoy the customer and put a big box in front of their nice flat TV. So that's why it's called bass control, and it controls the level of the subwoofer and also the bass level of the bar in a very smart and sophisticated way. The other one is night mode. Obviously, this is for late night listening. It also is doing several things like adjusting the bass. It also increase voice adjust automatically, that you automatically have the best setting for listening late night. Still, you can follow the dialogues from the movie, but explosions and any whatever rumbling sound, that is taken out or reduced. So then we have those presets for the content. So you can play with the bar and see what sounds best. What is new is a auto and a TV mode. So I have a separate slide for this. And the last thing, which is, let's say, one of the first, developed in 2008. You remember the slide, our first passive Polk soundbar. The voice adjust basically was introduced, I think that was developed like 8 years ago. And actually the original MagniFi soundbar, so the word MagniFi was taken from this Polk voice adjust development and to magnify the dialogues. So this is actually where this was developed. And what it's doing on the Max and basically all other Polk soundbars is it's increasing the dialogues while the overall volume remains at the same level. So that means usually if you have problems to follow the dialogues, you increase the volume, but I mean, that doesn't make it better because everything else is also increasing. And the adjustment is very easy. So you click the button voice on the remote control, and then you have the plus minus button. So you can actually control this. And this is a patented technology. There are many things, like there is an equalizer, obviously, especially the frequency area where the human voice is located will be more amplified. So that's very smart and it's very helpful. It's variable, so they are not just on and off and not just 3 preset, but you can adjust this from -5 to +5. So very, very flexible. To set it up and to operate the product, first of all, so what I personally like a lot, we have real nice buttons that also have a shape. You can even operate the bar when it's not very light in the room, when it's a very, very dimmed atmosphere. So all major functions are available. So not just on off or volume, but the most important thing is that you can change the input. That is there, and also you have a Bluetooth button, so that if you have friends or you want to connect your phone very quickly, just press the Bluetooth button, start your phone and play your music from your friends without giving them access to your Wi-Fi, for example. That's very great. What's also very easy is Wi-Fi onboarding. So the Wi-Fi onboarding is even you are not planning to use the Wi-Fi streaming capabilities. Like, for example, you are not planning to listening music with the bar, then it's still recommended to do the Wi-Fi onboarding, because in order to get firmware updates or feature additions, so the product need to have internet connection. And this can be done same as the Mini in 3-way. One is onboarding by the Google Home app, so that's available on Android and iOS. The other one is you can use the Alexa app for onboarding, because this Max device, Max AX device, also supports works with Amazon Alexa. And the third one is for iOS user is definitely the most easiest one. Just do the onboarding with Apple AirPlay. Just select the Wi-Fi stations on your phone under settings, and there the new MagniFi Max AX will show up. You press it, and then the password, everything will be set by iOS because it's stored. So very, very fast to set up. And the third thing I would like to mention, which is very, very helpful, and honestly, I love it, compared with what the smaller Polk bars actually have, is we have a little OLED display behind the cloth, and this shows information like music mode, like volume setting, like input selection, sound mode, input signals. And the best thing is when you stop pressing a button on the remote or on the TV remote, for example, so then the display fades out completely and there is no light, there is nothing. It's just a black cloth, and it does not interfere with your movie experience. So that is great. Actually, it's the same display that we already have introduced on the Mini AX. So they are really sister brother models in that sense. So what's also great is the remote control. Actually, this remote control, or this Max soundbar, I think it has the highest number of function, but the buttons on this remote are actually less than on the Mini. And so I would quickly like to go through all those buttons, at least that are important. So there is a TV button if you want to watch TV. If the bar is HDMI connected through the ARC or eARC connection, then of course the bar will power on automatically. So basically the power button is just for if you want to, let's say, enjoy Bluetooth and you don't want to switch your TV on, you would press power. The TV button is the fastest way to get TV sound. And this is actually a toggle between HDMI, ARC, and the optical input. While on the other side, we have access to all inputs. So it's toggling all inputs. So HDMI input 1 to 3, optical, and then the TV input, which is ARC. So these are the input selection buttons. And then we come to the nice stuff that actually controls the sound. So the bass control, already explained, this is for the combination of the subwoofer and the bar. What is very cool, I think, is the treble control. This is, I think there are not many sound bars that have a treble control, but this is extremely useful when you listen to music. And also I find this very nice when watching a movie, especially if the movie is synchronized. For example, in Germany with German synchronization, always the sound tends to get a little bit harsh. So then normally I take the treble down a little bit, while eventually the original soundtrack in English is a little bit dark, so you can make them a little bit brighter. So this treble control works in stereo with music, and also with Dolby Digital or DTS or Atmos. So that is very nice. And then the last button on the left side concerning the sound is the surround level. So that means you have very quick access to the surround levels if you have those SR2 connected, or you bought the SR version of the Max. And the cool thing is, so there is actually also a surround balance control in case you are not sitting in the middle. So this can be called by pressing the surround button on the remote for more than 3 seconds. So if you just press 1 and then plus minus is the surround level. If you keep pressing, then it's the surround balance, more to the left or more to the right. Both is possible. So on the right side, we have then more adjustments. So one is the voice adjust. Then we have the height level. So this is the output level from the up-firing speaker. So here you can control the 3D effect. If you don't want any 3D effect, you can actually adjust this from +5 to off, actually. So there is, I think there is a -4, -5, and then it's off. So that means you can completely turn off the height speakers if you don't want 3D sound, because the soundbar is always upscaling the signal, regardless it's a Dolby Digital 5.1 movie or a 2-channel soundtrack. So you can adjust these things. So then underneath here we have the listening modes, and also we have an info button. So this info button is actually very important, and we will go into these options, what you can do there. But first of all, let's have a look to the listening modes. And under listening modes, so these are accessible when you press the sound on the remote. And we have 2 modes that are actually new. So the first one is the auto mode, and this is the default setting. So if you unpack the bar and you connect it to your TV, or you connect it to Bluetooth and you play something, we automatically select the most appropriate sound for the media being played, and also for the input and the number of channels. So this works actually very well, and this means, for example, if you stream Spotify with Spotify Connect, or you play AirPlay, for example, the music mode automatically is selected. There is nothing you need to do. If you play a HDMI TV ARC connection and from Netflix, and it's a Dolby Digital Plus 5.1 track, then automatically TV mode will be adapted, or movie mode actually. And this is actually very helpful, and we have a manual selection still. So that means you can manually engage for movie mode or music mode, and of course night mode or all channel stereo mode. But the point is that the auto mode, in probably like 90% of the cases, will bring the best result for the customer without taking the Polk remote. You know, at the end, the customer will use its TV remote, right, and control the volume through ARC to CEC commands. And it's always a little bit complicated to take the Polk remote to play with the sound mode. So that's why we developed the auto mode. So just leave it in auto mode, just use the TV remote, and in 90% of the cases, maybe even 95% or 100, depending on the use case, you will get the best result. However, you can still manually select movie, TV, or music mode. The other new mode that has been developed is the TV mode. So the TV mode is actually what we believe is for, let's say, for typically TV evening or TV listening, while the movie mode is more like, you know, this is really for a Hollywood night, which you want to enjoy with your family. So the TV mode, for example, automatically have a little bit of emphasis on the dialogue, while the movie mode is more like, you know, straightforward, which sometimes can be too much. So let's say the auto mode always picks between TV mode, movie mode, night mode, all channel stereo, and music mode, and then you manually can choose those. So very, very helpful, and I can tell you I'm using now the Max, including so the, let's say, engineering testing for around 2 months, and most of the time the auto mode really works very nice, and I really love it because there is no need to always take the Polk remote. Just use your TV remote like you normally would do. The other thing is, which I would like to talk about, is this little info button. And the info button is directly linked to the OLED display in the front. And you can press, and then it's toggling through all this information. So you can see things like the input that is selected, the signal info, the listening mode, if the Wi-Fi connection is established, and also you can see if the surround connection is established, surround left, surround right, and the sub. So this is very helpful if there's a customer who is, I don't hear anything from my surround speaker, for example. So it's great if you asked him to hit the info button and to see if the surrounds are both connected, if there is a working link, and then the next thing would be increase the surround level to hear if there is anything coming. So this is very, very useful. And I would like to talk a little bit more about the input signal info. The signal info is this part that the soundbar receives. And I already said that there is quite a difference how the soundbar performs depending on the signal format it's getting. And you know, there are many signals. So one signal is PCM. So that is taken from a CD, for example. So PCM can be also multi-channel. So it's not just 2-channel like on a music CD, but also it can be multi-channel. Then there is Dolby Digital with 1 channel, with 2 channel, with 3.1 channel, 5.1, whatever. Then there is Dolby Digital Plus. So for example, Netflix is typically using Dolby Digital Plus in 5.1. Then there is the lossless formats like Dolby True HD, Dolby Atmos True HD, and also there is something called Dolby Atmos Dolby Digital Plus, which is lossy. This is also what typically Netflix is providing. And then you basically have the same thing on the DTS side. And what I've marked yellow is, this is the best format you can get for the best experience, which is Dolby Atmos. So that means it's a discrete information for the high channel. So what is coming from the ceiling, what is going through the upfiring speakers. And true HD means this is not a lossy quality like MP3, just multi-channel, but this is lossy and it's high resolution. And the same counts for DTSX. The display is DTSX MA, which stands for DTSX Master, which is the best quality you can actually get. And you can check this by checking with the info button. So the tricky thing is about this is that, for example, if you have a TV set and it has an eARC connection and you connect this to the MagniFi Max, you cannot be 100% sure what the TV is doing with the signals, especially not when the external sources like an Apple TV or like a NVIDIA Shield is connected to the TV directly, because the TV is in between the source media and the soundbar. And sometimes these TVs, they do very ugly things, like they are decoding and then providing a completely different signal to the soundbar. And that is also the reason why the Max AX does not only have an eARC connection, which normally does the job, but this input is actually 100% relying also on the TV capabilities. And you can actually check this by adjusting or by selecting the info button and see what format you have, and is that the format you would expect, or is there some room, for example. I mean, at the end, it depends on the provider. For example, Netflix cannot provide a Dolby Atmos True HD signal, but if you have a movie on a USB stick, or you have you are watching a Blu-ray disc, for example, so there this format is available. And if you are doing a demo, for example, it's highly recommended that you use Dolby Atmos True HD, because it's the lossless high resolution version of Atmos. And this is where those HDMI inputs come into place, because then the recommendation is that you connect your Apple TV or your Blu-ray disc player or whatever, your PlayStation, your Xbox, directly to these inputs, directly to the bar, and then the bar will take the audio, the best possible audio from this signal, and just bypass the video to the TV. So this is, let's say, completely opposite of the case when you connect those high resolution audio sources to the TV. So that's why we have it there. And in combination with the info button and the nice little OLED display, so you can really check or ask your customer to check if he has the best possible quality, so the Max can deliver the best possible sound. So then also on the back of the Max, you see that we have an optical input. So this optical input is used for, I would say, rather old TVs that don't have a HDMI ARC connection. There you cannot provide a native Atmos signal. So for a native Atmos signal, it should be provided through the HDMI ARC or eARC, or through the external inputs. If you use the optical input, the best you can get is Dolby Digital 5.1 or DTS 5.1. And also another problem is, as you definitely know, if you're using optical, you don't have a control with your TV remote over the soundbar. To use that at Polk, it's very easy. So if you have a Panasonic TV, you just press the Panasonic volume up down buttons, and then the Max will automatically recognize, okay, I'm in a Panasonic household, and then the Max automatically responds to the Panasonic volume up and down commands. If that is not pre-programmed from outside the box, which is very, very unlikely, honestly, because I mean, there are just a couple of major brands out there in the TV business, you also have a manual learning function. What we also have on the back is USB. This is not for media playback, but it's for offline firmware updates. So if the bar is not connected to the internet, you can update it this way. And also we have some LEDs there that also shows the link status, and also it's the binding process of the subwoofer and the surround. And also there is a little Wi-Fi LED which shows if the bar is connected to the internet, which is normally you would need to start Spotify and I mean complicated things to check if the bar is active in the Wi-Fi. Just look to the back, and if the Wi-Fi lamp is on, the onboarding has been done and there is an active Wi-Fi connection. Yeah, this was about connectivity and also how to, let's say, check the best possible format. And I would now like to sum up what we have here with the MagniFi Max AX. So basically three things. So it's the Polk flagship Atmos soundbar with really massive sound. I think the sound is really like a V8 engine. So it really sounds like I would say like an entry discrete AVR 5.1 receiver lineup. It's so massive and it's just amazing if you listen to that. And the reason is not just Dolby Atmos or DTS:X, it's really the, let's say, the knowledge which is included in SDA. This gives a lot to it. You can stream music with all formats you can think of. The massive sound definitely comes from the 10-inch subwoofer and the very, very nice integration from the acoustic point of view, the integration between the subwoofer and the soundbar. And we have a 7.1 setup option available, so you can process seven ground channels with the SR2, and it's highly recommended to buy them as a package because they are adding so much. Yeah, it works with any TV and setup sets in seconds, so it's really plug and play. The HDMI cable is included, even the optical cable is included. We have a newly developed auto mode, which is very, very helpful. It's really foolproof setup with that. For non-ARC TVs, we have a pre-programmed and a learning, and the optical cable is included. And it includes the Polk full-size remote, which does not have that many buttons, but a very, very nice way to control it with nice option. And also you have the debugging info button where you can see which signal is coming through the bar and which you are actually listening to. And the third thing is, it's really, I mean, it's Polk. This year, 50 years anniversary, 5 decades of engineering, epic speakers. I mean, you just should listen to it, and there are lots of patented technology like SDA or voice adjust. The whole bar, as well as the Mini, are developed in our research and development center in the USA in Baltimore. And yeah, we have a great team over there who are actually doing a fantastic job. Yeah, before I finish the presentation, I would just like to show both nice units together. So the Mini and the Max. So they have very things in common, like the design, like the OLED display, like the way it operates. So both bar sounds fantastic. Obviously, the Max is the Max, and it just sounds amazing. So the Mini is very unique form factor, very unique offering for the customers that are looking for very, very compact solution, and yeah, both devices are really great for listening Dolby Atmos and Dolby Atmos 3D music. Yeah, that's the end of my presentation, and so I would like now to give the word to Frederick to see if we have any response, any questions.
Yes, Achim, and that was a very comprehensive presentation. We did more time than we intended to. There's one thing though that we didn't talk about is the upgrades that we did on the subwoofer, and I think for this audience that might also be interesting to highlight them. As most of you know, the previous subwoofers, or from the previous series, the previous MagniFi Max, the non-AX version, was made from some composite material. What we did differently for this subwoofer is it's entirely made of wood. So it's a wooden cabinet with internal bracing, and we've also updated the amplifier inside to twice the power. And then we did something special with the tube. So it's a down-firing subwoofer, and the tube itself is made longer by making it curved, so that we were able to get that little extra bass to get extra down and give you that extra low end that a subwoofer gives. So double the power and then extra low end. So this is what makes that V8 engine that Achim is talking about. There's a couple more minor tweaks, like adding some absorbing materials and some bracing inside to get rid of some resonances and some booms. But let's get on with the questions. So somebody's asking if the Max AX has a wall mount possibility, because we see it standing. Is there a wall mount bracket for this one?
No, the Max, you can wall mount it just by using the keyholes on the back, so they are inside the product.
Yes, and also together with all the cables. So all you have that you need to install and mount it is already in the box. Yeah. Somebody was asking with regards to the specifications. So we know there's support for HDR and Dolby Vision through the HDMI ports. What about HDR10 Plus? Is there a need to have that? What extra would you get when you have that 10 Plus? It really depends on the TV, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, of course, it always depends on the TV. I mean, you always have the option. I mean, if you have let's say a source like this, you actually can connect it directly to the TV and just work with the eARC to get the sound out of it. But if you don't have this, let's say, extra demand for additional HDR standards, you can use the external HDMI inputs on the bar, this HDMI 1 to 3, and eventually get a better sound. I mean, if your TV is that great that your info button shows the best possible format which you would expect, I mean, you eventually don't need these 3 inputs. But let's say the reality shows that, especially with DTS, the TVs sometimes don't care that very much, and bypassing an audio signal which does not have the original best quality. So it really depends. But if there are any HDMI limitation, or also, let's say, moving forward, I mean, your TV obviously will have that, because otherwise you cannot reproduce it. There's always the option to connect these sources directly to the TV and just take the audio to the bar through eARC.
Okay, you mentioned about the dedicated center channel and also the voice adjust. Now, there's something we're doing different than our competitors with the voice adjust. The voice adjust doesn't only affect the center speaker. We're using the whole complete array, correct?
Yes. So basically, I mean, the easiest thing, and this is what some brands are doing, is basically it's not a voice adjust; it's a kind of center channel level, right? But this is not what we are doing. It's a mixture of level and equalizing the right part, and we have a patent on this. So that means obviously there is a little bit more, and that's why we have the patent, and others eventually don't.
That's right. So the whole array plus the right frequency range boosting, basically that's our voice adjust. Okay. The next question would be about the placement for the wireless surround. So the SR1s, some people said they were using a side surround. Where would be the ideal positioning for the SR2 surrounds?
Usually, I would say, I mean, at the side to the close rear. I mean, in reality, I mean, if I would do a demo, and just recently we had a summit here in Netherlands, in Eindhoven. I mean, we set it up like you would set up a 5.1. But these speakers are that small that it really depends on the customer's house. For a demo, I would recommend to set it up like you would do for a normal, typically 5.1. But in reality, and actually I played this in my living room, I mean, it's not so super critical. So the additional benefit you are getting when setting them up is so massive that this is not that relevant as, let's say, having them or not having them.
That's right. Okay, so somebody was asking, what's the full form of AX? That's a very good question. I would imagine it's something to do with Atmos and then X for experience. Maybe you
Right.
can.
Yeah, it's advanced experience.
Okay, there you go. I was not too far off. Great. Are we planning something in the future where we have wireless surrounds with upfiring drivers? So then you get your 7.1.4. I mean, is there any benefit, because with the DSP we're doing right now and the actual upfiring,
Yeah. I
how
mean,
far can you get?
yeah, I mean, there is no plan, so there won't be anything in the next 12 months, I would say. But you know, yeah, it's a nice idea, and I mean, it definitely will amplify the 3D experience. That's for sure. I mean, the overall question is, and this is about the positioning of Polk, where we would end up with a price point. You know, so what I want to say is, I mean, having, for example, upfiring speakers versus having no upfiring speakers, I think that's huge. And having 4 upfiring speakers, 2 from the surrounds, this will definitely add more. But the question is, let's say, how much? Because you will need obviously additional amplification, additional drivers in the surround speakers, so they would get bigger. So we will see, but it's definitely an interesting idea that, and we are looking into all options, but as explained in the beginning, so we don't want to make just everything in a box and later we will end up at whatever 1,500 or 2,000 bucks. So this is not where Polk wants to play.
Exactly. And that brings us to the next question from Manoj. The wireless surrounds, are they getting the rear surround signal, or are they getting the side surround signal, or is it a combination of both?
Yeah, it's a combination of everything. And basically the idea is, and that is why we called the non-surround speaker version already 5.1.2, is the number of signals that are processed in the soundbar. And every speaker, including the surround, then would, in case of 7.1, they will get a mixture of the surround back channel and the normal surround channel. So it's not what you hear from the surround speaker is not always, I mean, it depends on the format. If you have the SR version with surround speakers and you are playing 5.1, what you are getting then is the surround signal. So that's clear. But if you are playing 7.1, it will be something different, right? And if you don't have the surround speaker and you play 5.1, you will get then the surround speaker simulated, supported by the SDA technology.
Right. And then you also have the upmixing that adds the virtual, or in this case, it virtualizes through the real upfiring speakers some Atmos or some sort of immersive experience, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So that's a good point, knowing that even with an old 5.1 movie, you get still immersive 3D audio.
Yeah, right. And you can easily, let's say, amplify that experience by the height channel adjustment and directly influence that, or even switch that off, for example.
Impressive. I actually haven't heard it, but I'm eager to listen to it. I'm very excited about this soundbar combination, the whole with the surrounds, the SR2s, the whole kit, just the whole thing. One last question is the lip sync. How far is it adjustable? And I actually tried it out. It's 300 milliseconds, so you should probably have enough enough to sync any type of movie that's out of sync. Is there anything else you would like to add, perhaps, Achim?
No, so maybe just to make clear, this is a general audio video delay. So that means you can delay the audio from 0, which is usually the standard, to up to 300 milliseconds. So, but this is a general delay for all speakers. So it's not the, let's say, the speaker position delay that you might know from an AVR. This is a audio video sync delay.
Okay, we have one last question coming in from Gareth at New Zealand. With the MagniFi Max XR, so that's the bundle, will the SR2s have within the box the same firmware as the bar? I would assume that everything before packing would sit on the same level, unless, of course, in the meantime, there's an update.
That's correct. Actually, this let's say how we control the firmware is very smart. So for example, if you, let's say, buy the non-SR version, and let's say when you install it, the onboarding, it usually will receive immediately an update, and then whatever 4 weeks later the customer decides to go for the SR version, buys the SR2 speakers, bind them, set them up, bind them, then the SR2 will automatically recognize they are not on the latest firmware, and the bar and the SR2, they talk each other, and the bar will transmit the right firmware version to its SR members automatically, so without accessing even the internet. So there is a, let's say, there is a version control within the system and also to the external OTA server. So in any case, it will be updated altogether, which is usually the case. Or if you have your SR off at that time, maybe, I don't know, you have cleaned, brushed up your room, so they are disconnected, and the bar is updating. Typically, this is done overnight, by the way. And next morning, you are connecting your SR2 again, so they will recognize we have an older firmware than our mothership, and then the bar will send the latest firmware part, which is then meant for the SR2 firmware.
That's very clever and foolproof, so to speak. One more. Can you change the brightness of the OLED display?
Yeah, no, but you cannot change it. But I mean, really, if the room is completely dark, the display itself, I mean, if you look at without the cloth, it's relatively bright. But having the cloth in front of you, you will never feel that this is annoying, and it's fading out very quickly.
That's right. It doesn't stay on continuously, right?
Right. It's not adjustable if there's a question, but I can tell you it's not that super bright. It's very dimmed. It's behind the cloth, and it will fade out very quickly. So even you change the volume of the TV, you will then also have the display on the bar. So I never find that annoying. So I don't expect this will be a problem.
One last question before we go. Will the MagniFi Max SR, the one with the complete box and the SR2s, is it a rectangular box or is it an L-shaped box? This is interesting for some dealers out there that need to get details about freight.
Yeah, it's an L-shaped box. Yeah.
It's still the old L-shaped box. Okay, well, with that, I think we've covered all the questions. There's no other ones coming through, so I would say, Achim, you can close the session.
Okay, yeah. Then thanks for joining. So I will add this additional subwoofer slide, which is a good point. So let's say my challenge was there are so many good points that I would emphasize that I just forgotten to mention all those subwoofer improvements. So thanks for joining, guys, and thanks Frederick and thanks Kevin here for making this happen. And yeah, stay in touch. And once you got the bar in your shop, connect it and yeah, check it out. I'm pretty sure you will be very amazed.
All right, that's it for us. Until next time, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care.